Are we live? Yes, we are live, and I'm here with Homan. Did I say your name properly, Homan?
Yes.
How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I accept that. Yeah.
How do you say it?
Human.
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 That's easier. Human. So, is your last name? I've got you down as
Davoodi.
Davoodi. That sounds
It
very
is
similar to David.
exactly. It is David. It is David in Persian.
Ah, you're
It is
Persian. Okay, you're
David the prophet.
Persian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Arabic it would be Dawoodi. Dawood.
Dawood. Yeah. Davoodi.
Dawood. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
say Davoodi.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, okay. So very nice to meet you properly. We met
Same here.
briefly once or twice, and so I interviewed John yesterday. So he revealed to the audience that we have a little gathering we do. He didn't say where it was, but he sort of briefly touched on it. So it's not top secret. But it is kind of an oasis for freedom lovers, Canadians, and people from other countries like yourself. You came from Iran?
Iran. Yeah.
Iran. It's
Yeah.
pronounced Iran, right?
Iran.
And
Yeah.
how do you pronounce Iraq?
Iraq.
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 Iraq. Iraq.
Iraq. It's really hard for you to
It's hard.
pronounce.
Iraq.
Iraq.
Iraq. So, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about geography and geopolitics, but let's talk about you and your journey and Islam and where you are today and how you got from where you were in your family when you were being raised up until today and how you got to Canada. Touch on as many highlights as you want in that journey, and then we'll open up the discussion more generally to talk about ideas.
Okay, it's a long story, but I'm gonna make it as short as possible. When you're born in Iran, you're born as a Muslim because no question asked. You're Muslim because you're born in Iran. But after
Shia Muslim.
Shia Muslim, exactly.
Ah,
But there are some areas in Iran who Sunni Muslims live in the remote areas. Kurdish people, most of them are Sunnis and stuff. But I'm not Kurdish or Turkish or whatever. So yeah, I used to be Muslim when I was young and naive, and my family basically were not Muslims. My father was atheist. He used to mock me when I was saying prayers. He used to mock me, and I just it was just brainwashing, and the stuff you used to be taught to me in schools. They have a very organized and powerful system of brainwashing kids in school. The same thing we have here in Canada. And yeah, I used to think, yeah, if I see a woman without a job, or if I see her body, I'm going to straight to hell. I used to really believe that. I used to really believe that I had this burden of guilt 24/7 on my shoulders. And after a while, after I guess when I went to college and I started to see other people with other ideas, I started to talk to people who were against my belief. I used to get offended all the time by their their stuff they used to told me, and at that point I started to actually research on what is Islam is. I actually started to read Quran for the first time in Farsi, not in Arabic, and I was like, okay, it seems all these people are right. I was wrong, and it takes a lot of time. I think for me it took 3 or 4 years that I said, I was like, yeah, I stopped believing, and they are right. I have to move on. I don't believe it. I think all it's uh, nonsense. Can I curse?
you can curse as much as you want. I've had a couple of guests curse. If you do it,
Okay, nice,
if you do it,
nice. It really helps.
if you just be natural, just be yourself. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care about foul
because I
language.
curse a lot as a natural. I curse a lot.
That's part of your new
And
religion.
yeah, yeah. And after that, I was totally an atheist. Pro-choice, pro freedom of speech, because in Islam, in Iran, actually, the countries the countries where the government is Islamic, you don't have the right to dissent. You don't have right to blaspheme. You know, and you go straight to jail or even hanged. So because I had such a bad experience of not being able to speak up, not able to uh, discuss with ideas that are totally against my ideas, or I found them offensive or something, I was the exact other side of the front, I would say. And I am absolute support. No, I support absolute freedom of speech. I'm totally against censorship in any sense, and I'm totally pro choice. And I used to think these values are liberal values. I used to think these values are fundamentals of a country like Canada, liberal democracy like Canada. And I had another journey after coming to Canada. I used to think, okay, I have to be a liberal because these people are against war. These people are against mandates. These people are against censorship. So okay, I thought, okay, I have to vote for them. But it was another journey for me after coming to Canada to understand, no, I was wrong. This stuff used to be liberal positions maybe 40 years ago, but not now. Not now. These positions are conservative positions. I don't call myself basically a conservative, but I think conservatives are way more open to discuss about these kind of stuff. Liberals, they're not ready to um, talk about, even mention some of these problems at all. So I had this second journey here.
Wow.
So I'm here with you now.
Yeah, well, when I was in the shower yesterday, I had this idea that came to me. It's kind of a joke, but it's true, as all good jokes are. Um, have you heard the expression "live and let live"?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's a fundamental old school liberal principle, one that
It's my
is very
motto. Yeah,
near and dear to my heart. But my wife always calls liberals libtards,
yeah.
like a
Me too. Me too.
liberal retard. And of
Yeah,
course,
me
it
too.
doesn't apply to people who are actually liberal the way
I am.
normal
Yeah,
healthy people are, like normal conservative healthy people.
yeah,
It doesn't apply to them, but just the progressives, or whatever you want to call them, the control freaks, the people who are into tyranny for tyranny's sake. And I was thinking, of the little play on words. Instead of saying live and let live, we can say lib and let lib. So
Good one.
the idea behind lib and let lib is epitomized very nicely in a poster that I saw when I was apartment hunting with my wife on Commercial Drive in Vancouver. I don't know if you know Commercial Drive in Vancouver, but it's a very
No.
liberal, progressive part of Vancouver. Vancouver's liberal enough to begin with, but this is like an extra liberal, progressive part,
Hmm.
and very trendy. And I didn't like it. But when we were there looking for an apartment, there was a little poster in a coffee shop, and it said, "Looking for housemates. You must be open-minded." That sounds good, right? That sounds good, right?
Yeah,
That sounds good, right? But
not to me.
you keep reading. You keep reading. You must be open-minded. No smoking, no drinking, no meat, no
Jesus
no
Christ.
this, no that. You can't be you can't vote this way, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, so hold on. All of these bullet points of what you can't do are under the main heading, you must be open-minded. So that's the lib and let lib attitude. You can
Yeah.
be whatever you want to be,
Except, except,
as long as it fits my
yeah,
exacting expectations, my
yeah,
arbitrary expectations for you. Like, as long as
yeah,
you're dancing to my tune, and the tune's going to change, and you're never
yeah.
going to know the rules because the rules are going to change. But as long as you're dancing to my tune, as long as you have the approval of that Borg hive mind, then you're in. So
Yeah,
that's live and let live.
exactly, exactly. And it is so frustrating to me to see that for the second time in my life, to see that all the stuff I used to believe in my whole heart, it just wrong, it just lie, and it is so frustrating. I used to think, Westerners, as people, majority of Westerners are very smart because they build a great society like US, like Canada, like Europe, whatever. I thought these people must have doing something good. They should have some minimum level of intelligence to be able to accomplish, to reach to that point of prosperity. But I was so wrong. I know most of the times I think Westerners are way dumber than people in the Middle East, for example. They're so dumbed down by the education system, by the whole system, actually. That's a very funny story I have to tell. The very first days in 2014, we arrived in Canada with my wife. uh, I went to bathroom, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, and I saw in the walls of the bathroom how you should wash your hands. Just open the knob and put some soap in the hand and just rub it together. I was like, what the fuck? These people can have no idea how they should wipe their ass, or how to wash their hands. How dumb you can be. You need somebody to teach you to how to wash your hands. I was like, it was a first sign to me. Okay, these people should not be that smart, I used to think. So, but after I see and I hear and other stuff, and yeah, after this the pandemic, and after everything is happening, it just goes to trash everything.
Yeah. So you arrived in 2014, yeah?
Yeah.
And what did you think of 9/11 in 2001? What was the impact over in Iran?
um Nothing.
No, it didn't.
What do you mean exactly? Because they
You don't
attacked
think it's fishy?
Afghanistan and Iraq over it.
No, but you don't think it's fishy?
I think it was inside job, actually. I'm
Yeah.
100% sure it was just a excuse to
So that was
pass
immediate.
the
That was it.
patriot act or
Yeah.
something.
Was that clear to you in Iran back in 2001?
No, no,
Okay.
no. Because
Okay.
in Iran, when I was in Iran, I used to trust and believe
Mm.
governments like Canada or
Yeah. Yeah.
US or
Yeah.
Germany or France. Or I
The
think, okay,
good
these
guys.
these, these people are good guys. Exactly. And there was a reason that I left everything I had behind, my family, my job, my ideal job. I left everything behind to come here and start a new life because I thought I'm going to live in a civilized and free society.
Mm.
But I was wrong. I was totally wrong. It just everything looks good, but when you go deep, when you just explore all the facets of the society, you see, no, they just speak nice, they
Mm.
just act, they just look nice,
Mm.
but in the core it's the same thing. But in Iran, the government should, they don't see the need to hide it.
Yeah.
But in here still there is a need for the government to hide what they're doing,
Yeah.
to come up with some excuses,
Yeah.
stuff to just justify what they're doing.
Yeah.
But not in Iran, not in Saudi Arabia. In these countries, they don't have to pretend.
Yeah.
That's all. They do everything in the daylight. But in here, at least maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. But for me, it is not enough. If I knew in the first place 9 years ago, 10 years ago, if I knew, if I had the knowledge I have right now about Canada, I would never move to Canada.
Yeah.
I'm totally regret. Maybe I would have move to some other places. I don't know, or even stay in Iran. But now I think I made a huge mistake. But it's
When
just too late.
when you look around the world, I don't have an opinion on this, but when you look around the world, do you think, oh, that's a nice society in this country, and it seems there's freedom, genuine freedom, and there's no tyranny or very little tyranny.
Yes.
I don't, wouldn't even know which countries to put on the short list. Do you have any examples for me?
To me, just two places: Florida and South Dakota.
Okay, both in the States.
Not even Texas, because Texas is so uh, infiltrated with libtards.
Okay,
But Florida and South Dakota are those two places I really like to move to,
okay,
but I
yeah, yeah.
can't.
But they're both in the state. They're both in the States. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, states.
So you believe that the American project, this experiment, this great experiment of America, you think it's bearing real fruit, real good fruit, or is it just coincidence that there are these two states that?
It is not coincidence. Oh, I need to also add New Hampshire. New
Okay,
Hampshire,
really?
yeah, in New Hampshire, they want to secede from USA,
Oh,
and I really like that idea
ah,
to start a new country. Yeah, they're working
yeah,
on it. Yeah,
yeah.
freedom lovers there.
Ah.
That is ideal for me. New Hampshire actually is the best.
It's
I
close,
would
isn't
say.
it?
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, from Montreal, maybe 2 hours and a half
Nice.
drive. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, they have a project called the Free State Project. Yeah, they help other people from US or all over the world to move to New Hampshire to get the majority vote they want to secede from federal government of USA. That's the best case
yeah,
scenario to me. But it's still, yeah, I see the American project, American idea or American dream. It is very good, I think. But I changed my mind on that thing also. I used to mock American Dream. I used to mock gun ownership and stuff. I thought these people are violent. They're savages. They want to kill everybody and stuff. But I know I was so naive about it. And maybe the only reason that in Florida or Texas or New Hampshire, you don't see the level of especially COVID craziness we see in Canada or New York or Illinois or other states, California. It is, to me, in my opinion, it's only is gun ownership. Because if you check the numbers, if you check the states with the strictest gun rules, they have the more also COVID restrictions. California, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, it is almost impossible to get a gun in these
yeah.
states. But in free states, it's called constitutional carry guns, like Florida, like Texas, recently, like South Dakota. No COVID restriction, no lockdowns, no mandates. It's just beautiful. Even
Yeah.
mandates are illegal
Ah,
in Florida.
yeah.
Yeah, you get a fine if you ask someone for a vaccine or for a mask or something. You get a fine.
Mm. Well, it's interesting that you chose Quebec because Quebec is the leftist of the left here in Canada, and Canada's pretty left, so it's
Yeah,
the leftist of the leftist of the left.
yeah, exactly.
So how did you end up in Quebec, and what do you think of Monsieur Legault and the health ministers and all that sort of stuff?
Okay, don't get me started on that. I used to think I'm a left. I'm a leftist, so I had no problem with socialism. I'm talking about 10 years ago or something. I didn't see any kind of threat or danger
Yeah.
in left wing ideas or socialism or something. The reason I picked Quebec and Montreal was two things. The first thing was the other parts of Canada, the federal immigration, because I immigrated as a skilled worker.
Okay.
So in other provinces, it was so hard to get in because there was a huge lineup. So and it was a very low chance we can get in. But the problem with Quebec was French
Mm.
language. So
Ah.
yeah, I analyzed my option, and I could have seen that if I just learned French, it is done. The only thing I need to do is just learn French, because they let everybody who speaks French.
Yeah.
So me and my wife, we went to some special classes to learn French from scratch.
Wow.
And I used to be very fluent in French, maybe 10 years ago or something, but I forgot everything, almost forgot everything. But and the other reason was, me and my wife, we both are kind of artists.
Ah.
I'm a writer, I'm a film critic,
Ah.
and my wife is also a designer.
Oh.
So
Designer of what?
websites,
Okay. Okay.
all
Graphics,
the
graphics and stuff.
all yeah, graphic
Okay.
designer.
Okay. Okay.
And we both love the cultural and artistic vibe in Montreal.
Yeah.
Because when you go to Toronto, when you go to Vancouver, you don't have that. You don't have
No.
that artistic.
No.
I used to think people in Canada are so anti-government, so anti-establishment. Just classical liberal left. I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
people in 70s or 60s. I used to think, okay, these people are rebels. I belong here. I belong
Yeah.
among these people. I was wrong,
Yeah.
but I thought, okay, that's the place I need to go. They're pro freedom. They're pro choice. They're artistic people. They
And,
value art.
and they're
And okay,
they were Quebec was, and the reason I'm in Quebec, the reason I love Quebec is because they're very, very pro-immigration. I love the multiculturalism. That's something you didn't touch
yeah,
on
me
with
too.
Montreal.
I'm
In
my
Montreal, in Montreal, if you go outside of Montreal, they're racist as hell. But I mean, in Montreal, you have that vibe where if you're rich, you're poor, you're somewhere in between. If you're black, white, brown, whatever, it does not matter. There's a vibe, and there's a European thing, and there's
yeah.
that sort of Catholic influence too, because the Protestant world is very different from the Catholic world. The Catholic world embraces the sinner, so we have the mafia here, we have criminals, we have all kinds of
Mhm.
people mixing and mingling together. And
Yeah,
there
that's
used to be
beautiful.
a lot less judgment and lot less racism. But racism, as you know, is being promoted. It's one of the big things. It's like we're teaching racism, we're teaching critical race theory, we're teaching all these sorts of things. We're teaching sexism, we're teaching all sorts of things
Yeah,
to our children about
very true.
sex that are completely perverted. And
Yeah,
the ideology from the so-called left is perverting and destroying everything that you and I loved about Montreal, Quebec.
yeah, basically, yeah,
Slowly,
because of,
slowly.
yeah, I'm not gonna never forgive them because of that. Really, because uh, uh, I don't know how to say it in words. The level of my frustration. Um, I never experienced racism here in Canada or even US. I used to travel to US all the time. I never experienced anything even close to racism. I experienced a lot of stupidity, a lot of prejudice, especially on French language, but it had nothing to do with my race. Nobody act differently based off my race or my skin color. Oh no, I need to correct that. One time I went to a restaurant, and the waiter, I ordered something with bacon or pork or something, and the waiter said, "Okay, there's pork in it." I said, "Yeah, yeah. What's up? What's the problem? You thought I'm Muslim? I'm not." I really got offended by someone, thinking I'm a Muslim because I'm brown. And it was the only experience I had that some people mis characterized me based on my skin color. That was all. Canadians are just too polite, too nice. That's all. I and I never experienced, but I had a lot of bad experiences on French language here. French, uh, I don't know, zealousy. I would say zealous, zeal. But
Mm.
what's the word? It just there's so tied up with French. But oh, you asked me what I think about Lego, Francois Lego, the prime minister. I think he belongs behind the bars. That's what I believe.
He
He
should,
needs to
he
be.
should be a bartender.
No, I don't trust him that much, really. No, no, just behind the bars, working in camps.
Is
No,
the what's the name of the guy that's rising in popularity on the Conservative Party of Quebec? What's the guy's name?
Eric Duhem.
Yeah, yeah. Is he any good?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
awesome.
okay.
He's awesome. He's the only man, because at this point, I think we can all agree on this subject that we we, we all of us, we have to be pro freedom. It
Yeah,
is not about policies, it is not about small government or big government, healthcare, whatever. It's just about you believe in freedom or not. You
yeah,
want to live free or you want to live under tyranny.
yeah,
This is the I think this is one issue, election coming up in all, I think, all over the world, not in Canada. I never gonna support that a party or a politician who is not 100% pro freedom.
Have you read
I'm not gonna do that.
Have you read the Charter of Rights and Freedoms?
Yeah.
I guess you had to, right?
Um. No. No.
No?
But I think, yeah, for the citizenship test, I think, yeah, it was 3 years ago. I think I read it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But I don't.
it's nice. I mean, it's simple. It's a simple document, but I mean, it does. I mean, I'm a monotheist, so I believe in God. So it does mention God, that our rights come from God, and I believe that firmly. You don't, I guess, you don't believe that, but you can still appreciate the fact that they are enshrining these God-given rights, freedom first and
Yeah.
foremost, and
Yeah.
all kinds of different freedoms that we have, that we're supposed to have, and that the cops are supposed to enforce and protect, and that the politicians are supposed to protect too.
Yeah, but the problem is nobody cares about the law, nobody cares about the charter and stuff. So it's a big question what we can do as a citizen to force politicians to just enforce the
Don't
law.
comply. Don't comply. Don't
Exactly.
comply.
Don't
Don't
comply,
comply.
fight back. And because you mentioned that, I just remember that I had another journey, maybe 4 or 5 months ago or something. It took a while for me to convert from atheist to agnostic. No,
Ah,
now I can.
ah,
I'm just ashamed to call myself an atheist,
yeah,
because atheists, like big faces like Sam Harris or Richard Dawkins, they're so dumb.
yeah,
And after COVID, after on Trump, about Trump, about COVID and stuff, they said a lot of nonsense, lies, and fake, and so just moronic statements.
yeah,
I actually called Ri- Richard Dawkins on Twitter. I mentioned, you're so dumb. You're
yeah.
one of the dumbest person I ever know.
Ah,
He said something about Trump or something. It was so dumb and fake. And I started to question atheism and the big faces of atheism and stuff. But after this frustrating experience of COVID and lockdowns and curfews and stuff, I was able to see the evil.
yeah,
I'm not a man of faith, but I think I can see evil
yeah,
where he is. So if there's an evil, there should be some sort of higher power or
yeah,
good or something.
yeah.
So I don't know what that is. I don't believe in any monolithic God or something. But now I believe that there is a higher power, and I had a personal experience
Oh,
with that higher power during my yoga sessions,
oh,
and I just felt it. I saw it.
okay.
So I'm agnostic right now.
Ah, that's good. That's good. A
Yeah,
huge step in the right direction for sure, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
I was atheist from the age 14 onward, but I transitioned to agnosticism and I spent a large part of my adult life as an agnostic and also as a pantheist, where it's just like everything is God. And then later in life, before my conversion, just before my conversion, I became an atheist again, and a really hardcore atheist and a Satanist, actually, an atheistic Satanist. And so I went through a lot of different worldviews, and there are many
Yeah, it is
different many.
fine.
It's
It is
it's
it
it's
is
an
fine.
exploration. It's a journey of discovery. But the fact is that there it's a philosophical fact. It's not a question of faith. It's a philosophical fact that there is one and only one uncaused first cause. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on that, but it's something for you to think about and to go off and explore the uncaused first cause. That's who I worship. And it is the source of everything that's good. And one thing I also want to mention to you, which is very, very important philosophically, which is the notion of evil. Evil is not a thing; it's a way. It's a way.
Exactly.
It's a way of
Yeah.
turning away from the good. It's a way of taking the good
Yeah.
and perverting the good, inverting the good. And we see that
Exactly.
see that a lot with the COVID, right? You take a truth or a partial truth and you twist it, you turn it, you manipulate it, you obfuscate parts of it, and
Misframing.
it's all
Misframing.
about taking what's good and twisting it, and
Yeah.
the the uh, the ontological status of anything is good. Like anything that is, to the extent that it is, to the extent that it exists, it's good. It's ontologically good. But it's the way we use it. It's like the gun debate. It's like guns don't kill people. People kill people with guns or with knives or with a potato or whatever they have at hand, right? Or they could just smother them with their
Yeah.
bare hands, whatever. So the ontological goodness of everything, that's an important concept to bear in mind when you're exploring your agnosticism, because evil has no substance. And the notion
Yeah.
of evil is best seen as a privation or a deprivation of the good. And just like illness is
Yeah,
a
I totally
deprivation
agree
of
with
evil,
you. And
of
it
health.
is so frustrating to me also that I've already seen this movie. I've already seen how good things turning to evil
Yeah.
back in Iran.
Oh,
And I've already seen everything there. I've already seen family members turning in other family members to
right.
the fire squad.
Oh,
In the
shit.
yeah, in 1979 when the Islamic revolution happened, it used to be like the COVID area we experience here. The very beginning of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the first years, it's the same as what we have right now in COVID, post COVID era. When I heard that neighbors here call the police to
Mm,
report on their neighbors, I was like, that's Iran in 1979. It's 1980. That neighbors used to call the police, the morality police, to come in because in the first years of the Islamic revolution, any other ideology was just banned.
mm,
Communism, Marxism, anything but Islamic ideology were banned and punishable by death.
mm,
So they used to say, we have to do it for yourself, for your safety, because we're gonna make the society safe because these people are very dangerous.
mhm, mhm.
And I was like, okay,
Unacceptable views.
exactly. They're fringe. Yeah, they used to actually say that they're fringe part of the society,
Fringe,
and
yeah.
they have unacceptable views. And yeah, it was the same thing. And I was really frightened.
Mm,
I
mm,
in the whole time I was really scared of government way more than the virus,
yeah,
because I used to see that what's down the road. I used
yeah.
to I cannot see that, and it's just happening. It's just
Mm.
happening, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. It seems. The most amazing thing is the similarities between hijab and mask.
Ah.
It is so mind blowing to me
Except you don't
that
see dirty hijabs on the street everywhere.
yeah, but the tactic, the
Yeah.
strategy was the exact same thing. They said, okay, women have to cover up, because of public health, because women are the source of
Lust.
deception, fitna. In Farsi and Arabic, it's called fitna, which means deception. So
Okay.
women are the source of some evil, some bad stuff. So
We
they
call
have to
it
cover
glamour
up.
in Western culture. We call it glamour, which is a sort of magical, mystical hypnotism that women have. Glamour. Have you heard that
Yeah,
term?
yeah, not exactly that. They say they say if women are just exposing their hair or their bodies, men are going to attack them and
Yeah.
rape them,
Yeah.
and it's not good for either party,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
women are being raped and men are just
Sinning.
raping them.
They're
So
sinning.
yeah, exactly. So we're just preventing people to do the sinful act of rape or getting raped, because women are being blamed for being raped
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So
I do
just
want to mention. I do want to mention that I am pro modesty. I think, but I'm also pro choice about everything, including abortion. I just don't want people to choose to kill their baby in the womb. I think it's murder. But I think you're free to murder whoever you want. I just don't want you to do it. I don't think it's the right choice. So I'm pro choice in that sense. I'm also pro life. But when it comes to modesty, I mean, although I am pro choice, I want people to choose. I do want people to choose modesty, and I do feel the demons of lust within me when I see sexy women exposing their body parts. So I do admire Islam in that way, with with that grain of salt and with that proviso that we need
yeah,
to have
me
freedom.
too.
We need to have freedom. We need to have freedom. But modesty
Yeah,
is very important to me.
I totally understand what you're saying, but the problem is when the government
Yeah,
gets
enforcing,
involved.
enforcing. Yeah, enforcing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are debating at personal
choice.
level.
Yeah,
It just is personal stuff. But when government gets involved, they're gonna uh, dic- uh, dictate you how many people you can have in your bedroom, how many people you can have sex with in your bedroom.
yeah,
I escaped from it, and it happened in Canada once again. Lego used to say, or in Canada, in all maybe all over the world, the liberal, freedom-loving government, they used to say how many people you can have in your bedroom, in bedroom, who you can sex with.
yeah,
That's the problem. That's the institutional, tyrannical measures
yeah,
that I am against. I don't give a shit who you're gonna go and have sex with.
yeah,
It's just I have zero interest in it.
yeah,
But when government is pushing, not enforcing how many and how and
yeah,
who you
yeah.
can have sex with or you can hang out with, that's the problem.
Yep.
And the problem with hijab is it is not, or mask, it is not a piece of cloth. It is a sign. It's a political sign.
Yeah,
It's a religious sign that makes that person, that woman, a second class citizen, a slave,
yeah, yeah,
a slave. And that's why when in Iran, if a woman goes to, I don't know, an office, a federal office, to do something, I don't know, signing a paper or something, if the hijab is not correct, is not
uh huh,
completely on
uh
the face, everyone has the audacity to
yeah,
tell her
yeah,
cover up,
yeah,
and she cannot do anything about it. It's the same thing with mask here.
yeah,
If you have mask just under your nose, everybody has the audacity to
yeah,
tell you mask up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
In Iran, they say cover up to women, and in here they say mask up.
yeah.
And both it's for public health, for the greater good. You know, and
It's sick.
this similarity is just it's mind blowing to me, that how people cannot realize it, how people get used to it, get along with. You
Yeah,
know, in here, all mm, it was some time that masking outdoors was mandatory, I guess, for a month or something. But we can still, almost half of people masked up outdoors, under the rain, under the snow. It's that it's beyond stupidity.
yeah,
It's just this level of obedience. It's beyond belief to me that it is not the same in Iran. you know Iranian people are just looking for a chance to rebel. They use any uh, situation to show their protest, show that they are against these governmental measures. But not in here. Not in here. People just trust the government 100%, majority of them, and they don't just care. They don't care. They think without getting involved in politics, they're going to have a comfortable life, but it is not going to happen. You're going to lose someone to this mask wearing or vaccine or whatever, but it's too late that time. I don't know what to say. Just you cannot force people to care.
Yeah.
That's a big fundamental problem with humanity. You cannot force people to care about themselves or other people.
Well,
And that's freedom. That's freedom. That's the case.
Muhammad says, or it says in the Quran anyway, there can be no compulsion in religion, right? And of course, you can find a contradictory message, and the Bible is full of apparent contradictions also. So I'm not going to harp on the idea of contradiction in holy books. That doesn't bother me at all. Okay, it's a question of emphasis, and it's a question of what does God mean, and he'll explain it to us on Judgment Day. But the idea that there can be no compulsion in religion, that's a common sense idea. There cannot be compulsion in religion. If you have compulsion, you've excluded religion, because religion, like love, needs to be freely given. If it's not freely given, it's some form of rape or some other form of coercion. You just cannot force someone to love, force someone to care, force someone to self-sacrifice. You can pin them down, tie them up, and kill them, but that's not self-sacrifice. That's just tyranny.
But it's Christian view of a religion. It is not Islamic view.
Right.
The verse you just mentioned, it was the time that Muhammad was in Mecca.
Okay. Before Medina.
Or Medina, yeah. He was not in power. Yeah, he was not in power.
Okay.
In that time, he used to say this kind of stuff, some nice
gentle stuff.
After he got into power, he just in other verses they say, okay, kill them all, kill the infidel, break their fingers, not even just kill them, break their fingers. Don't be friend with them.
Yeah.
Don't be friend with people who don't fight for Islam. This kind of stuff. But it is what you said is Christian view, but Islamic view. I'm not saying all the Muslims think like that, but Islamic teaching I used to have back in Iran in schools, and it is what is called the books, the scripture, Islamic scripture says it is not like choosing Islam. It just you have to talk to them. If they don't accept, you have to force them. It is the mentality of Islamic teaching. That's why Muhammad was in the battlefield for almost I don't know how many years. He was a warlord, but Jesus was basically a hippie who got crucified. It is the example of prophet or example of mentality is not the same. Or Moses was the one who just left. He didn't do anything, basically. He just left. But Islam, it is not as a same context as Judaism or Christianity.
Yeah.
And I used to be taught in schools that you should not be friends with infidels. You should not be friends with people who are
people
not
of the
Muslim.
book. People of the book, they say.
Yeah.
Jews and Christians, people of the book, because Islam teaches that the books have been corrupted and with man-made lies and editing.
We are the best version of the same story. But the other problem with Islam is Islam as a religion was political in the first place. And actually, it was a political tool for Muhammad to get into the power. But Jesus or Moses, they were not interested in politics at all. So that's why your sense or your viewpoint of religion is so peaceful. It's so humanistic, but not in Islam. In Islam, it's not. And there's a reason that Christians and Jewish people, they managed to put all the crazy shit in the Bible aside and say, okay, we're not gonna go after do that bullshit. We gonna we stop caring about that stuff because we're gonna look up to the prophet, what Jesus did, what Moses did, turn the other cheek, and forgive stuff. But forgiveness or turning another cheek, it is not like Islam. They say if somebody hit you, you have to hit it back. If somebody kill your, I don't know, wife, you have to kill his wife.
Mm.
It's eye for eye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they actually do it, and that there is no forgiveness, or they talk about it, but in action, in practice, they say no. You have to do whatever you have to do for Islam, because everything is justified in the mm, in the betterment of Islam.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was the example of Prophet is very important here, and that's why Islam is still political.
Mm.
In the Western countries, they have successfully managed to separate, church and state, but not in Islamic countries. In Islamic countries, everything is Islamic, everything is political. Your lifestyle, your just daily routine stuff is political, and most times you're doing a crime, you're doing
Mm.
some kind of misconduct or something, and that's why people always carry a burden of guilt on their
Ah,
shoulder, and
ah.
that's because they're so vulnerable to government to come down on them, to take them to jail or whatever, because everybody is guilty,
Mm.
like
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
And that's exactly what happened in COVID time here.
Mm.
Your lifestyle, it was against the government. Your just normal human life was just violating some restrictions, and that's why people just after time, after 2 years, we are in year three now, people are getting vulnerable to be controlled, and they're prone to be controlled, and people just after some time they just stop fighting back, because there is a limit to human spirit to
Mm.
handle this kind of stress and pressure and stuff.
Yeah.
And now we can see people even forget they have a fucking mask on their face. People even forget about it,
Yeah.
and they just can't see it because they do it for a long time. It just become the reality for them, become the
New normal.
natural. Yeah, normal. Yeah, normal.
The new normal.
Yeah. Yeah, and the scariest thing to me is it's lack of freedom is being normalized now
Yeah.
in Canada or Western countries.
Yeah.
That's the scariest shit to me.
It's very scary. I was in the gay village, you know where the gay village is, down on St. Catherine
Yeah,
Street East.
yeah,
I went to Tim Hortons there yesterday to get some donuts, and I had a funny experience with the masks, but I won't talk about that. What I'll talk about is on the street in the gay village, I found 2 books, and I took them home with me. Can you see what that says?
yeah. Bienvenue Canada.
Yeah, so this is for new immigrants. Okay,
Yeah,
I haven't read it yet, but I'm interested to see just how sick and perverted their teachings are.
it is.
Okay, and then I found this other book at the same spot on the sidewalk. Someone was moving, and they just threw out a bunch of plates and cookware. And this book here, I don't know if you can see it. It's called
Yeah, taking charge.
Taking Charge. And what does that say?
A handbook for healthcare and social service providers working with trans people. Oh my fucking god.
So it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick and perverted. And this is, believe it or not, this was published in 2011. And it's got a whole bunch of definitions here of sex, gender identity,
Jesus.
gender expression, sexual orientation, transsexual, transgender, crossdresser, trans, cis, two-spirit, intersex, transition, transphobia, WPATH, which is, I guess, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, gender identity disorder, GID, gender dysphoria, a term used within medical and psychiatric discourse to describe an incongruence between gender assigned at birth. Well, there is no gender assigned at birth. There's only sex assigned at birth. Gender assigned at birth and gender identity. It is used to describe gender identity disorder in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of the Mental Disorders. Many trans people reject this term as they find it pathologizing, right? Like wait, hold on. Are you saying there's something wrong with me? No. We don't accept that. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with you, buddy. You're a dinosaur. You are outmoded, and you're
unicorn.
You haven't gotten with the times yet. So it's going to make for some interesting reading. It's pathetic. It's really sad. It's really sad. And it's not only is it sad, it's child abuse. It's systematic, systematized, institutionalized, government sponsored, heavily sponsored. Not only nationally sponsored, but it's like outreach, global outreach. Like we're going to, Trudeau has packages and Biden has packages that will reach around the world to fund this perversion. And it's child abuse. It really is.
Yeah, of course.
These people are not happy. These people are not happy. They do not. It does not end well. It does not end well. I do admire Bruce Jenner, aka Caitlyn, because he was asked point blank on reality TV, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. They asked him point blank, was it worth it? Was it worth all that you had to go through to transition? And he said, no, it wasn't worth it. And I wouldn't recommend it. And he came out recently about the sports. He said, no, it's not. It's wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah. He's way better than others. But I just want to say, libtards have no kids. They against having kids, and they also pro-abortion. They're not pro-choice. They're pro-abortion.
Yeah.
So they just abort all the kids they may have, but they have your kids and they have my kids and they have conservative kids.
Mm-hmm.
So they know how to have an influence on the next generations.
Mm.
So that's why they heavily invested on education system, and putting all this bullshit on kids' mind, because it is the only way they can win.
Mm.
They don't believe in free discussion, freedom, free market of ideas, or this kind of stuff. We agree on. They just care about the power. I think they just the whole purpose is just get into power and force people to live and think how they like. This is the whole goal for them, and the only way is just influence kids. And what you just said, it is in the first place is really stupid. It's stupid funny, but in the other side, it's so sad and upsetting. When I think about those kids, being exposed to all these mentally ill and craziness, it just reminds me my childhood. It just reminds me what I went through. I used to have the same thing. They all talk about sex. They're just so obsessed about sex. I used to go to classes that teachers used to just tell us all the time what you need to do with the opposite sex, what you need to do with girls, how you should treat them. It was just all bullshit, and it was just so close-minded that I'm not joking. When I was walking into streets back in Iran, when I was maybe 11 or 12, I used to walking like head down, because I didn't even want to look at girls, look at women, to just get tempted or something. It was so fucked up in the mind. I sometimes I question myself how I got out, how I woke up, because the amount of propaganda, the amount of bullshit, systematic, it was so crazy. Oh, I just remember every fucking morning in the schoolyard, we used to line up and say 3 times, death to USA, death to Israel, death to England,
Oh,
3 times a day. It was
wow.
mandatory.
Okay.
And I sometimes I cannot realize how I woke up. I think it was my family and friends and college and everything. Maybe the sense of rebellion we still have in Iran. People
Mm.
use any chance. Women barely have the hijab
Yeah.
right now on their head.
Yeah.
It's barely just for fashion or
That's
something.
like when I wear my mask down here
Exactly. But you cannot remove the mask
completely.
altogether.
No, no.
Yeah. It's the same thing with hijab. They have it on their hair, some like back here. It's just so stupid, but they have to do it. So they keep doing it, but they use any chance to any parties. And when we
Yeah.
go to underground world, it was so crazier.
Yeah.
The nightlife, the party life
Of
in
course.
Tehran, it's
Decadent.
way crazier than here. You have no
Decadent.
idea.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, you have no, because everything is forbidden, everything is banned. So you get more greedy to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I used to go to party and drink every fucking weekend. Back in Tehran, but not in here. But um, yeah, I was saying sometimes I forgot how I woke up to that, and still I have no idea how Canadian people or Westerner
Mm.
can woke up under this amount of propaganda and pressure
Mm.
and tyranny. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I'm seeing a difference in the grocery store and in a couple of
Yeah.
different places where I go. I'm starting to see, like the other day, I went in, I had my mask down beneath my mouth, and then in the grocery store, and then I put it under my nose to go to see the to pay for my goods at the teller. And he was a young guy. He's probably 18 years old or 17 years old, doing at the cash. And when he saw that I had my thing under my nose, he put his mask under his nose, and he was obviously enjoying the little break that he got. Okay. So it's like, it's just a little signal like, hey, let's cheat a bit. Let's cheat a bit. And I saw the same thing in various different situations, just people just sort of letting it slide just a little bit. They're fed up. It's just a little signal like, okay, I'm going to play along, but not fully. And I'm ready to exit, take the off ramp from this madness. But in terms of rebellion, Christ is seen as a bit of a rebel, turning the tables and fighting for justice when corruption was dominant in his Jewish
Yeah.
society, and pointing
Yeah.
out the hypocrisy of these man-made traditions. It's just like you're missing the point of religion. Okay, you're
Yeah.
missing the point. You're a hypocrite, and
That's cool. That's cool.
you're the son of your father, the devil, who's the father of lies and a murderer from the beginning. So he's very harsh on the religious hypocrites, and he was very friendly to the prostitutes and the third-class citizens, the tax collectors, and those who had
Yeah.
a bad
True.
reputation. So
Yeah.
in that vein, I want to talk a little bit about a sympathy that I naturally have to the enemies of the West, and one of them is Putin. Even though I know he's not a saint, but I have a sympathy for Putin. I think he's a strong, manly man. He's not perfect, but I have a lot of sympathy for him. And I'm just naturally sort of against the Ukrainians because they're more Western, with the Western perversion and corruption. So I'm just naturally defaulting against them. I've got nothing against the people. The innocent people are suffering on both sides of the border and all around the world. But I have a sympathy for Putin. I have a sympathy for. I've always liked Aminadab or whatever his name was. Your guy there.
Who?
Your
Ahmadinejad.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've always liked him.
Ahmadinejad.
I've always liked him. I liked Saddam Hussein. I liked Gaddafi. I liked Osama bin Laden. Why did I have sympathy for these men? Well, part of the reason was they seemed manly, a lot of them, very manly, strong, intelligent, and not
Assertive.
fake. Not
Yeah.
fake, okay? And the other thing is I don't trust the fake Western BS routine where it's like, yeah, we care about you. It's just like, it's so obvious you don't care about me. Okay. So I kind of rather respect someone who tells it like it is. And even though they're very capable of lying and deceiving and being corrupt themselves, obviously. Okay. But can you just talk a little bit about that dichotomy between an overt tyrant versus a hidden fake guy like Trudeau, And also, in particular, talk about Aminadabijab or whatever his name was, and what you thought about him, and why I might, as a Westerner that knows nothing about him, why I might have had sympathy for him, just sort of based on his demeanor and his face, and all that sort of thing.
Okay, but uh, in general sense, I 100% agree with you. I personally prefer someone who is saying whatever that is. If you're tyrant, if you're having some atrocious behavior, I prefer it to be clear, not having a face of, okay, I care about you, I just want you to be free, I want to keep you safe. That bullshit, I'm so against it. I just hate it in my guts. That's why I found Trudeau way annoying, very annoying, and very just. I cannot listen to this
No, no,
guy
no,
for
no.
more than five
His
seconds. You
his
know, I just
enunciation,
gonna vomit.
his enunciation is disgusting. It's
Yeah, even his tone, even
yeah, it's
his
disgusting.
tone, his sound, it's just so disgusting to me. And because I know he's such a hypocrite, and same as you know, we can talk about all the geopolitical benefits of someone like Saddam Hussein or someone like uh, Gaddafi in Libya or in Iraq, and how they were keeping the whole area stabilized and stuff. But in just more moral sense, in moral view of what these people were, I totally 100% agree with you. And you know, the thing is, someone who is pretending like Trudeau or Lego, it's way harder to beat, because
Mm.
in the first phase you have to unmask them, you have to expose them. It's a very hard and long process, and after you did it, now the fight starts. So you have to rile up people against them, you know, you have to just do the action and stuff. So you have two phase, but on case of those people, you have just one phase. You know, you know who you're fighting against and stuff. But we are still in Western countries. We are still in the phase one. You know, majority of people just trust these monsters. So you have a lot to do. But you ask about Ahmadinejad. You know, Ahmadinejad, in 2009, there was a presidential election in Iran, and I was in Iran that time, and there was election fraud in Iran. Everybody knows. Everybody voted the other guy. He was not a good guy, but everybody voted for him. It was so obvious. It was so obvious. The huge millions of people supporting the other guy in the street. Everybody know it. It just they stole the election. And after the election, I was in the street. I didn't even vote the other guy, but I was in the street to say, okay, you need to just cancel the election or recount or whatever. It is not okay. It is not cool. The main slogan was "Where is my vote?" That was the main slogan. And the other time, the whole demonstration was silent. Demonstration, 3 million people silent, saying nothing, not a single sound or noise. I was there, and I saw that anti-riot police started to kill people who were protesting silently. People start to get killed beside me.
Wow.
And in 2009, it was a time that I said in my mind, if I get survive, I'm going to leave the country, because it is just over the red line now. There is
Yeah.
no barrier. They
Wow.
start shooting people
Wow.
with no guns, no nothing, just
Wow.
silent, not
Wow.
even saying anything,
Wow.
you know. And I got survived. I'm here now. But the thing is, Ahmadinejad, after that event, he went to a press conference and said, those people we just killed, they were just fringe part of the
Oh,
society with
unacceptable
unacceptable
views.
views.
Oh shit.
The same wording through
Wow.
the use.
Wow.
And when Trudeau said that, everybody said, "Oh shit, that's Ahmadinejad."
Yeah.
Even Trudeau voters, even Iranian Trudeau voters say, "Okay, fuck, that's Ahmadinejad. We're fucked." And,
Yeah.
I'm not joking. That word was
Wow.
it just
Wow.
branded by Ahmadinejad. In
But
Iranian.
he tweeted about Trudeau being a tyrant and a hypocrite, right?
Exactly. That's yeah. So he was uh, hypocrite also.
Yeah.
He was. I remember when he was trying to get into the office. He was saying, "Our problem is not Iranian women hijab. I don't care. We have such bigger problems
Okay.
in Iran. I'm not gonna go to a woman and say, okay, cover up. I
Uh-huh.
don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care about inflation. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
take care about our safety in the borders and stuff."
Uh-huh.
And we were like, yeah, it seems this guy is saying something good. It seems, but right after he got into the office,
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
morality police
Mhm.
just got wilder
Wow.
than ever uh, before, and that's why Iranian people hate Ahmadinejad so much, because
Hypocrite.
he
Hypocrite.
was, yeah, he was such a fucking hypocrite. Um, but I understand your point. I understand, because you didn't know that,
No.
and even most of people, they have no idea that we have actually a morality police in Iran.
Yeah.
There is a organization called Morality Police. They have their vans. They go around the city.
What color are their uniforms?
A green,
Okay.
and the vans also have a green.
And the normal police
Ribbon.
color is blue, or the
Yeah,
normal
police
police?
police are police are also kind of green, but they are greener,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
their vans are very obvious to
Yeah.
spot.
Okay.
It's easy to spot,
Okay.
and they go around the city and they find women with bad hijab or the nail polish, and because nail polish is also
Wow.
punishable by some fines or some
Wow.
jail time for women, or the color, even the color is so shiny, orange or
Uh,
yellow
uh,
or red, you're gonna get caught by them. Still, they use it. This is a political a tool for them to
mm,
use against whoever they want. So yeah, he said Ahmadinejad used. He was one of his election slogans, election campaign, that he used to say, "I'm gonna remove morality police. We don't
ah.
use that.
Ah.
We don't need that in Iran,
Ah.
because people are so responsible. We don't need that. We are great people. Everybody know what he or she should do.
Yeah.
So we don't need morality police."
Ah.
But it was
Mm,
it's such a big
that's
lie.
too bad.
We still have it, and still in Canada, in Montreal, we have a morality police, mask police, morality police, and people just really get offended when I tell them. Everybody just start harassing me. I say, okay, oh, you are a masked morality police, right? And they get really angry, and
Yeah.
they get offended. I don't. Okay, this is what you're doing. You're morality police. What is why you? It's hard for you to accept it. You're a piece of shit. Why just accept it? You're just nosy piece of shit.
Have you seen
And
anyone? Have you seen anyone get red pilled or come to the light and come join us on the light side?
mm, um,
Or any
yes,
fence sitters that were on the fence, like, I'm not sure, and then they said, no, I'm not for the vaccine or whatever.
yeah. In my personal experience, there was a girl, and she lives in Iran.
Ah.
And she lives in Iran. She reads my Facebook posts and stuff. And one day she messaged me, and she said, I got red pilled by reading your Facebook post. I'm reading your post for a long time,
Ah.
and now I can say to you that you changed my mind on it.
Nice.
And it was such a good feeling.
Yeah.
But in my circle of friends, honestly, no, zero.
Did you
To
lose
be,
any friends because of the pandemic?
I lose. Yeah, I lost them by choice. I cut
Yeah,
them off.
yeah. That's what I mean. But because they're just on the wrong side.
No, not because in the right side. That's complicated here. I as I said, I don't really give a shit what
You,
anybody wants to
yeah,
do with his or her body.
yeah,
They're gonna get 10 shots. I don't give a shit.
yeah.
But when you use a QR code,
Okay.
when you use the vaccine passport, it means you're helping the
Mm,
government, the system to infringe upon my rights,
yeah,
to oppress me as a citizen, and
yeah,
you're helping the system to make me a second class citizen.
yeah,
That's what is my red line.
yeah,
And even if I still have some friends with QR code, but they explained to me how they had to do it,
yeah,
how it was just forced on them and stuff.
yeah,
They
yeah,
they totally against it,
yeah,
but they had to do it for some reason. I said okay,
yeah,
but I cut off people who just pretend that everything is fine,
yeah,
everything's normal,
yeah,
there's nothing going on,
yeah,
just some random, just normal thing, just normal phase of life to get a shot and have a barcode. I just too dumb to me to just.
yeah,
I just I just don't enjoy hanging out with these people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
So
I just
it's hard to
some of
respect
them,
them.
yeah, and some of them, yeah, I had a couple of friends that started cursing at me, talking shit to me, and just say, okay, you're a delusional conspiracy theory and stuff. I said, okay, bye.
Yeah, yeah,
I had no attachment there,
yeah,
but I really try to be friend with everybody
yeah,
with the just minimal level of intelligence.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
all I need.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you about perpetuating the system and enabling the tyrants. That's the reason I never have been tested for COVID, and I never will be tested for COVID,
Me too.
not by
Me
choice.
too.
And when I got really sick at Christmas, my boss said you have to get tested or you can't come back to work. I said, well, then I won't come back to work, and so then he just let me back quietly.
Nice.
So, I mean, if you stand up for what you believe in, if first of all, if you have principles and you believe in something, congratulations. And then the next step is stand up to the tyrants and just say no.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just.
take my job, take my apartment, put me in the camp. Do
Yeah,
what you want. Torture me, kill me. Do what you want to do. These are my principles. Okay? And I'm
yeah.
happy to suffer and die for my
Exactly.
principles. Period.
Exactly.
This
It's the
never
best
would
way
have
to
happened.
die.
This
It's,
never would have happened. The pandemic would have stopped. It never would have got off the ground. And it
yeah,
just would have been a cold and flu like any other cold and flu. And
exactly.
yes, Granny, 80-year-old Granny with her preconditions probably would have died from it. And that's too bad. I'm not wishing ill on anyone. I want everyone to be happy and healthy. And we have to protect the vulnerable. But we
Exactly.
know, we have common sense. We know how to protect Granny. You don't cough in her mouth, right?
Yeah,
And it's common sense. We don't need a nanny state acting
exactly.
like we're stupid babies that don't know how to wash our hands after we go to the bathroom or whatever, like you said.
It is the same thing I used to hear a lot from supreme leader of Iran. They call people sagir.
Okay.
Sagir means a child who needs to be taken care of, a child who needs attention, a child who cannot do uh, whatever he or she needs to do to just carry on his or her life. That's the definition of sagir. And yeah, this is exactly what it is. I used to experience back in Iran. But I just want to mention that point that everybody should not be fighting in the same way as me or you or anybody else. Everybody has his or her unique way to fight back. If someone has a QR code, okay, but he or she fights in other fields. I totally respect that. But what I don't respect and I cannot tolerate that you just pretend that everything is normal.
Yeah.
You don't even need to fight.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
That's the problem. nor that's Hannah
Unacceptable
Arendt
view.
called banality of evil.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
banality of
yeah,
evil. That's you just make evil to something just usual and
yeah,
something normal and
yeah,
banal,
yeah,
and that's the huge problem.
yeah.
That's just so toxic and so dangerous.
When I
I
walked
cannot
past, when the Vax Pass first came out and only vaccinated could be in the restaurants, I would pass by and look inside, and it was like watching a horror movie, a psychological horror movie,
me too.
where they're just smiling, and for them,
Exactly.
they've embraced this is wonderful, and they're in complete denial of the fact that they're willing slaves of this
Exactly.
tyrannical governments, right? Like, what do you think?
That was
I want to, before we wrap up, because I do have to go. What do you think about the European members of Parliament who ripped into Trudeau? I asked John Campbell last night about this, and he
I
was.
liked it, but I'm not sure how much of influence or impact it can have
But how
on
sincere
the.
is it? How sincere is it? Just theater playing off the other side, or is it
I don't
sincere?
know
No.
because I don't know that person. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the background, the
Yeah.
context. I don't
Yeah.
know. I like that rant
Yeah.
actually, but I don't know actually because I don't follow news as
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
follow because
Yeah.
I can
Propaganda.
see the news and the mainstream media and all this stuff that we're bombarded with 24/7. It's so toxic for the mental health.
Yeah.
I just I just don't know. I had no idea that curfew is lifted last time. After 10 days, I still used to think there's a curfew.
Yeah.
That's how much you can ask John. John told me the curfew is lifted. I said, yeah, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, but remember yesterday I asked you, "Oh, do you need a vaccine passport to go to the restaurant?" You're like, "No, that's over."
Yeah, because I managed to create this kind of lifestyle, this kind of alternative reality
Yeah.
that I just go to the places or to the restaurant that they don't ask for it. They don't ask you to mask up. They don't ask for anything. Just normal. It has no impact on my life.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't care
Yeah.
what the logo or Trudeau says about the measures or restrictions or whatever because it has no impact in my life. The only impact is the travel restrictions.
Mm.
I really miss traveling. I really want to go around. It's the only impact. But
Well, you can go get vaccinated. It's free and it's safe and effective.
yeah, yeah,
And there's a sixth wave coming, didn't you know?
yeah,
Did you
exactly.
hear about the sixth wave?
Yeah, I
But
read
it's
it
got a
because
dumb name, right? BA2
yeah,
or something.
it is not going to be over. The whole thing it is not going to be over until all the restrictions everywhere is lifted.
Yeah.
Some people are thinking, okay, it's gonna be fade away, after a while. But based on the movie I've already seen back in Iran, it is not going to be over
No.
until everybody take off the hijab
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
When
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
take the mask off everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's going to be a time that you can be hopeful. I
Yeah.
think that.
You know, I as a hobby, I sometimes over the course of my adult life have made little computer programs, little games, or little applications, okay? Just for fun as an amateur.
Uh-huh.
And there's something that I like to do. I get an idea for a module that's part of my software, and I say, okay, I've got this concept, but I need to make sure that I can actually do it. So I do a proof of concept separate module just to prove that I can get this one mechanism to work, and then I can
Uh-huh.
plug it into my bigger picture, okay? So this proof of concept is a very useful tool, and then it goes in my toolkit, like once I've got that module, like, hey, I know I can do that, boom. So now I can keep integrating that into my overall architecture of my idea, okay?
Uh-huh.
So I do the proof of concept, and then I've got this tool, and it's locked and loaded, and I may not use it till much later because I've got a lot of other grunt work to do to set the stage so I can plug that module in that I already did the
Exactly.
proof of concept. And
Exactly.
all of these restrictions, all of these tests and mandates, They're all proof of concept. Okay, can we manipulate the people? Will they conform? To what degree? What percentage of the population? How hard do we have to press? Where do we have to put the pressure? Okay, next time we learn from this experiment, next time we'll put pressure in a more subtle way, in a more overt way, or whatever. It's all these proofs of concept, and they can shelve them because it's established. This is a tool for the bigger picture, the bigger project, and they will pull it out and they will use it in the integration of the final thing. This is just the beginning. This is the beginning. And yeah, we should be very, very afraid, not based on anything the government says or does, but based on the conformity, the complacency, and the willingness to enable that we see in the general population.
Exactly.
I think it's around 30%. That's the usual number that you hear about, 30% of the people that are more than willing to just enable whatever the government says, that's what I'm going to do. And I've got close friends who say that literally, whatever the government tells me to do, that's what I'm going to do because I trust the government. And I heard the same thing. I heard the same statement on mainstream commercial radio. The person said, I'm sick of all this COVID stuff. But if the government says there's a sixth wave, and if they say that we've got to put these new restrictions or whatever it is, I'm going to do it. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it because I trust the government and they're looking out for our best interests. So they basically got us.
Yeah, exactly. You put it in words in a very amazing way. I cannot add anything to that. But I just want to mention something else, that information is gold. And in this era, we are at an information war.
Yeah.
But after these 2 years, more than 2 years, every person gave out a lot of information about himself or herself to the government, as you said, to be banked in a place to be used afterwards. So they have a lot of information about us. And I think that's the scariest part, that even they know when you go to bed, when you go to the toilet, they know everything. And you can argue they're not going to use it against you, but I'm going to oppose to that. I'm going to say, okay, no. They have the tool, they have the resources, they have the time, and they're going to use it against you as much as possible for them. Yeah. And it stops only you want them to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just look at Iran, look at my country of origin, and just see what is waiting for you down the road. If in the beginning of the revolution, women or even men opposed this hijab, opposed these restrictions and stuff, alcohol is still banned. Drinking alcohol is still banned in Iran.
Yeah.
Gambling is banned. Alcohol is banned. Every fun aspect of life is banned in Iran. And if they would have opposed to it in the first place, the government was not so powerful as right now to kill people in the street with the sniper headshots.
Wow.
It's just so obvious now in Iran. If you go to the protest against the government, you're gonna get killed. It is just so common sense in Iran. You're on that road right now.
Yeah.
If people don't fight back, don't stop it, just if they don't stop complying, you're going to make the government so powerful that they're going to kill you in the street and you cannot do anything about it. Please think about it.
Yeah.
Don't take your freedom or liberty for granted.
No.
That's a problem with those people who used to say they trust the government, because they have this freedom or the liberty for granted.
Yeah.
This is so sad. It is so sad.
It's beyond naive. It's naive.
It's beyond naive, yeah.
And you have to see.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to go through. No. You don't have to repeat the history.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But
it takes courage. It takes courage, and it takes it takes at a minimum the courage to go against what your neighbor might think and say because of that peer pressure. The peer pressure is the killer here. The peer pressure. Oh, well, I can't be different from my group because if I'm different, that's weird and I'm going to be judged and all this sort of thing. Luckily, myself and my wife have always been weirdos, outsiders, and just antisocial and just eccentric and not part of the mainstream, not consuming mainstream news our whole lives long. And
Yes.
it's been a saving grace, finally, it turns out. Right?
Yeah, yeah. It is really hard to be black sheep all the time.
Yeah.
It is so you have to bear a lot of pressure. Yeah, but it is so hard, and nobody said it's going to be easy.
No.
You know, it is hard. I was the same position even back in Iran. Even back in Iran, I used to think I don't belong here
Of
because
course.
people. I used to find people so compliant to everything. You know, but no, I was so wrong because when I see the level of obedience here, I was like, oh fuck, they Iranian people are way better. Not complying.
Wow.
But this is what
Crazy.
it is.
Crazy. So I'll have you back again sometime to chat more because you got a lot more to say, I'm sure. But it was
Yeah,
really nice chatting with you face to face here and getting to know you a little bit more, a little bit of your story. And
same here.
I,
It was my
uh, I
pleasure. Thank you
appreciate, I
so much for
appreciate,
having me on.
I appreciate your love of freedom, and
Thank you.
that's so important. It's so important that people uh, have a long-term vision that goes beyond their immediate pleasures and conveniences. They have
Okay.
to step back and think about the abuses of freedom that are taking place in different countries like Iran. They have to step back and take a look at the history through time and what happens, the patterns of power, the corruption that comes with power, and the telltale signs of how those who are in the position to abuse their power, how they manipulate and they lie and they use propaganda and all these things. It's so obvious. I mean, it's so obvious to anyone that's even a little bit interested in
Yeah,
looking into these patterns.
yeah,
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So we
exactly.
need to wake up. Collectively, we need to wake up as a nation, the nation of Canada, North America, the Western world generally,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those who have been systematically enslaved for hundreds or thousands of years. My heart goes out to them in different nations that are, I guess, considered developing world or third world, whatever it is. They're just a complete slave class,
yeah,
and the color of their skin makes it okay. We don't care that they're children dying at the rate of one every 8 seconds worldwide. There's a child dying of starvation, right? And lack of access to clean drinking water. We don't care. We don't care about that because of the color of
yeah,
their skin and because they're the slave class and they live far away from us here in the pristine West where we're so educated and enlightened and all this sort of thing. So
yeah,
that's the main injustice. The fact that you and I need to wear masks to go into a grocery store, that I can deal with. But the fact that children are dying of thirst and starvation in the third world, and that we accept that because of the color of their skin or because of the fact that they're that's just their role. That's just their role as the slave class, and we're going to exploit them and crush them underfoot because we're somehow better. I mean, that's the main tragedy that I would like to see addressed. But
but you cannot save the world. You
no,
know that. You
no,
know that,
no,
right?
no, no. We need to think globally, but act locally, and
Yeah,
we need to a step forward in freedom in Canada will actually trickle down, I hope, to the developing world, to the third world, and we
yeah,
need an awakening at all levels. Within the family, within the city, within the province, within the country, within the continent, within the world, and just
yeah,
if
yeah,
everyone that's why the populist movements excite me, like Trump's movement. And Trump himself I don't trust, I never have trusted him, but I was excited by his movement. And the populist movement with the truckers in Ottawa, that was so exciting, so
and
beautiful to
even in
see.
Canada, PPC movement
Yeah,
is the only party I voted for
yeah,
2 times. I was able to vote. I voted PPC 2 times,
yeah.
and even last time I voted for my favorite YouTuber, who
Oh,
is David Freiheit.
oh, okay.
Viva Frei. He was a
Ah,
candidate for the PPC in my writing.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
watch his videos. We watch his videos. I'm a little bit skeptical, but he is growing on me a lot, especially during the Ottawa truckers thing.
yeah,
He grew on me a lot. I think he's on the right side, and I know he's vaxxed, but he had his reasons to get vaxxed and whatever.
yeah. He was against the mandates and QR codes and stuff
Yeah,
from the get go, and he was always against it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but so yeah, I really excited about the new uh, Conservative Party in Quebec, Eric Duhem,
Okay,
and Federal Party.
is he
Jean,
francophone? Duhem?
sorry.
He's francophone.
Yeah, he's francophone, but I guess he's trying to reach anglophones also
Okay.
recently. I think, but I don't care about the
No, no,
language.
no, 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 no.
He has my vote.
I'm just saying that it's better for us if he appeals to the French voters, the francophone voters. It's better for us, right? If he were anglophone, he'd get fewer votes, no?
I don't know really. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to look him up. I've heard his name even on mainstream radio. When I drive around at work, I listen to mainstream radio.
No, he's a good guy. I follow him on Facebook, and I saw, because Facebook auto translate anything
Okay.
other than English, and I read what he's posting,
Okay.
and I like him a lot.
Okay. Cool.
I like him.
I'll check him
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Check him out.
So have yourself a great Sunday, and we'll talk. We'll talk again soon. I hope to see you. Maybe next weekend we'll see each other.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
And have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.